Good morning. And morning. Nice. Welcome to worship here at the Unitarian Universalist congregation at Shelter Rock. We are here on this beautiful land, the ancestral land of the Matancock peoples of Manhasset Bay. I'm the Reverend Dr. Natalie Fenimore, and I'm joined here in ministry to this congregation by the Reverend David Carl Olson, who's here with me on the pulpit, on the chancel today, and the Reverend Israel Bufardi, and this year's student minister, Madison Colquitt. Wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. Ours is a faith tradition which includes those of many, many backgrounds and celebrates both our differences and our common humanity. We use science, reason, and the many gifts of the Spirit to discern life's meaning and mystery. Here, we believe you need not think alike to love alike. You can learn more about Unitarian Universalism and this congregation by visiting the welcome desk out in the lobby or visiting our website, or please join one of our UU Belong membership sessions. I have some invitations and corrections today. Please be advised that the Ken Kunken presentation scheduled for next Saturday, September 28th at 4 has been postponed, and a date will be announced later for the program. Also, note that the memorial service for UUCSR member Jeff Schiff has been rescheduled and will now take place here at UUCSR next Sunday, September 29th at 2 p.m. with a reception to follow here at the congregation. And today's Sunday Cafe is being held in loving memory of Jean Klein by her family, her husband Erwin, her son Robert, daughter-in-law Brenda Klein, daughter Catherine, son-in-law Mark Simcoe, and their grandchildren Daniel and Scott Simcoe. The lunch is free to all, and all are welcome to attend. The menu will consist of both hot and cold dishes, and you will be entertained during dessert when Reverend Olson will sing, accompanied by Richard Bach on the piano. In this congregation, we hold both joy and grief, and the many ways in which we gather help us to be helpful to families in their time of grief and joy. So please come together today in memory of Jean, holding her family here in our community. Now let us worship together, beginning in song. The words are in the gray hymnal and on the screen. Please rise in body or spirit to sing our opening hymn, number 314, We Would Be One. 318? 318?
We would be one. Let things go. Please have a seat. Each Sunday, we light the chalice of our religious heritage. When we do so, I ask us to imagine that we ourselves are the chalice, that this gathering, this coming together, this encircling is the chalice that can hold us in all the moments of our lives. And so, we light this chalice. We do this for our ancestors who taught us through their various religious traditions and by their actions for justice and hope. We do this for our children who are learning the traditions that we teach and who learn more from our actions than from our words. And we do this for ourselves. We do this for ourselves so that we are inspired to remember our beginnings, to reflect on who we are now, and to spread our wings as we grow in understanding of who we are to become. You make a good chalice. So we make promises to each other each Sunday when we gather. We say words that affirm our sense of who we are with one another and who we hope to be with one another, not just for ourselves, but for the world. And then we robustly sing some song of affirmation. So will you join me? Rise for the words of affirmation, and then we will sing. Say with meaning and big breath, love is the doctrine of this congregation. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve human need. This do we affirm and covenant with each other. From all that dwell below the skies, let songs of faith and hope arise. Let peace, goodwill on earth be sung through every land, by every tongue. Big breath and sit.
We will now have a responsive reading. The words will be on the screen. However, if you'd like to use the gray hymnal, it's number 531, The Oversoul, by Ralph Waldo Emerson. So I'm going to speak, and then you're going to say the words that are there in bold. Let us learn the revelation of all nature and thought, that the highest dwells within us, that the sources of nature are in our own minds. As there is no screen or ceiling between our heads and the infinite heavens, so there is no bar or wall in the soul where we, the effects, cease, and God, the cause, begins. I am constrained every moment to acknowledge a higher origin for events than the will I call mine. There is a deep power in which we exist and whose beatitude is accessible to us. Every moment when the individual feels invaded by it is memorable. It becomes slowly and simple. It comes to whosoever will go off with sparring and proud. It comes as a The soul's health consists in the fullness of its reception. Within us is the soul of the whole, the wise silence, the universal beauty, to which every part and particle is equally related, the eternal one.
When it breaks through our intellect, it is genius. When it breathes through our will, it is virtue. When it flows through our actions, it is love.
When it flows through our affections, it is love.
Our soul listener this morning is assailed with the same problems I'm having in the allergies. An hour ago, I asked Lee if she would sing Imagine, so I'm very grateful that she stepped in.
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for, and no religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will be as one. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. A brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world
not the only one. We're all invited to imagine, all invited to participate in the love of this congregation and for the work it does in the world. Each Sunday we take a special collection to extend our vision of beloved community by supporting work in the world which addresses human need. During the month of September, our collection goes to support the work of climate justice through Green Faith. Green Faith brings together people of all faiths and spiritualities to work for climate justice. We believe that all life is sacred and interconnected. We are grassroots people of faith, acting out of love for people and planet, to stop new fossil fuel projects and to call for universal access to clean energy and green jobs that can lift our communities to a better future. We invite you to give as you are able. You may indeed use the QR code that is on your order of service. You may use PayPal, check dropped in the box in the collection box out in the lobby. You may go online, and of course you may always give cash. If you go onto the giving page of our website, you'll see an opportunity both to make a one-time payment or to set up recurring payments for support for our work in the world. We're going to sing From You I Receive, to You I Give. I think we can stay seated for that. Is that okay? Sure. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. Unitarian Universalist theologian Reverend Dr. Tandeka asks us, in the pursuit of spiritual awareness through the liberal religion we practice, not to miss an important access point, the realm of emotion. So her call for a religion of the affect invites us to see our practice not only through the analytics of logic and argument, but through our deep feelings. And so I'm going to invite you this morning, as crazy as it is, to have some feelings and to have the courage to have feelings. On the day of the equinox, we think about things in balance, daylight and nighttime, the earth poised only for a moment between the extreme tilt of axis known to us in the summer solstice and the extreme tilt in axis that we know in the winter solstice, which itself is known the other way around by people who are in the southern hemisphere. So let's have our feelings, sit in balance, and speak to the infinite. O God, known by many names, rejected in many forms, reinterpreted in every age. O great time beyond time, great timelessness, great timefulness, great spaciousness ever expanding and plumbed internally to greater and greater depth. Greatness and goodness, touch our hearts today. Move with us in the brightness of the sun, the light of truth that leads us on. And let us not forget the shadow that is cast, the unspoken truth that we sometimes fear to examine. In balance, give us courage to consider the fullness of many truths, and even our own, and even that which masks itself in us as truth. Move with us in the deep, reflective glow of the moon, the wisdom that leads us through the night, that assures us that we are held even as it helps us keep time. Sturgeon moon, full corn moon, hunter's moon, beaver moon, give us intuition that we may know more than what we see, a heightened sense of where wisdom may reside. Help us to live in the balance of feelings, to be sad, and to allow ourselves to cry, to be glad, to allow ourselves to smile, to be mad, and allow ourselves to feel our disappointment, our confusion, our irritation, our anger, and to express those in ways that are balanced by grace. To be afraid, to feel and face our fears, and to find a divine providence, as it were, to carry us through. This world is a politically polarized place, and we can so easily become a polarizing people. Great unity, great universal, grant us larger feelings that overcome the polarities, even as we move in the light of truth as it is revealed, in the warmth of community as we share it, in the fire of commitment as we live into our promises to ourselves, our deeply free and feeling selves, and our promises to each other, our promises to the earth itself. Grant us wisdom. Grant us courage. Grant us our feelings as a pathway to spiritual awareness. And let us love. Let us love. Amen.
Thank you to the choir. Thank you. Whose are we? Unitarian Universalist minister Kimberly Carlson has written, "It is not by chance that you have arrived here today. You've been looking for something larger than yourself. Inside of you, there is a yearning, a calling, a hope for more, a desire for a place of belonging and caring. Through our struggles, someone nurtured you into being, instilling a belief in shared purpose, a common yet precious resource that belongs to all of us when we share. And so, you began seeking a beloved community, a people that does not put fences around you, a community that holds its arms open to the possibilities of love, a heart home to nourish your soul and share your gifts. Yes, you've come here to find something. You've come here to explore questions of self and identity. Who have you been? Who are you now? Who might you become? There are, of course, many ways to think about who you are, about your personal identity. We can think about who we are as our physical self, our size, our shape, our color, our gender. You can think about yourself in terms of what you do, your activities, your profession. These are often the ways in which we consider our identities. But what if we choose to define ourselves as we relate to others? What if we ask not who we are, but whose we are? Yes, it's true that sometimes we do define ourselves in relationship to others. Most often we do that when we think about our places in our families. Are you the oldest daughter who is living with the expectation of caregiving? Are you the oldest son, pressed by a need to succeed? Are you the family baby who is lavished with love and tolerance, often beyond all reason? Whose are you in your family? How does that define you? How do you welcome and struggle with these relationships? How do we find ourselves dealing with these relationships for all of our lives? Can we break bonds and patterns which no longer give us courage and strength, but which hold us tightly, tightly in uncomfortable, hurtful, painful places? For many people, it is religion that provides an answer to that question, whose am I? Even when the family in which you find yourself does not answer that question for you. Religions can say, you belong to God, and God will be there to comfort you and provide the certainty of love which you may find nowhere else. Religions can speak about belonging as much as about theology. Those who believe as you do can form your people. I think often for us as Unitarian Universalists, we don't understand the seriousness of that for hurting people. Often we think that reason should cause you to move away from religious community. But is it unreasonable to seek a place of love and comfort? Those who practice the divine law of Moses form a people. Those who are servants to the living Christ form a people. Those who seek enlightenment through Buddhist practice become a people. Those who explore the world through the scientific method become a people. Those who align their lives with the rhythms of nature. Those who quest for the Ummah, the beloved community of Islam, become a people. There are so many ways that communities of faith and communities of foundational belief can form identity. As Unitarian Universalists, our community holds within it many individual religious identities, many individual belief systems. We acknowledge that there are many paths. Here, in the midst of the diversity of belief and identity, we find common ground in our covenant which puts love at the center. Our covenant, our agreement to join together is perhaps not with a divinity, not with a particular prophetic leader. Our identifying covenant is with community itself, with each other, with the commitment to building a more just and joyful world, a world of peace, a world of hope, of justice, a world of love. The Unitarian Universalist minister Sarah Lambert writes, "We who have no all-knowing deity to whom to relegate all the heartbreaks and complexities of human hatreds often feel alone. We are held only in our search for truth. We who are not sure of what is larger than us are sometimes left with a sense of burden when the world is troubled. Our prayers witness and affirm mindful actions. We witness the voices of generations raised in opposition to one another. We witness strife and conflict and long for the one simple answer we know will never be. Our hope is to open to new wisdoms and ancient truths. In angers at the state of the world, we can lash out, or we're tempted to retreat within our own hearts. But we are known in community. May we continue to strive to know one another in community. Yes, in community, we can find the wisdom and the truth which can bring us into our full identities as individuals and gather us one to another in welcome, to tell and share our stories. So I want to tell you one of my stories. I have some ministerial stoles. Actually, I have a lot of them now. This is only a sample. Each one tells a different story. Each one says a bit about my journey in ministry, what places that I've been to, which congregations I have served, anniversaries of my ministry. The stoles can say things about me and about congregations which I've been a part. The stoles can be messages, they can be symbols. The stoles can tell about the seasons, about worship themes, about Unitarian Universalist history, the hopes and dreams of my ministry over time. They can simply be beautiful. Many of my ministerial stoles were made for me, handmade, especially for me, and I worship that. I hold that so dear, the gifts that have been given. So, this stole is from Transylvania, the historic capital of European Unitarianism. It's a gift to me from a retiring minister. He did this great thing. He invited all of his students to come to his office on his retirement and to look at the things that had served him in his memory, in his ministry, and to take something as a gift from his ministry to yours. We sat around and ate pizza and talked about his stoles and his books, and we took a little bit of that ministry into our lives. This stole is one of those gifts, a blessing for my ministry, a connection between a past ministry and mine. This stole was made for me by a longtime friend and a member of the first Unitarian Universalist congregation I attended, the Unitarian Universalist congregation of Rockville, Maryland. She knew me for a long time before I became a minister and was very encouraging of me always. So was her husband. And when he died, she took his old ties and she made this stole for me so that he would always be with both of us, with me and with her. So I would always feel their support. There's a special inscription which he sewed inside, a special inscription with words just for me. And this stole was made by the UUCSR quilters, the Caring Heart quilters, which I received along with my Doctor of Ministry degree in 2018. This is very special because I also have the opportunity every Sunday and occasionally during the week to touch the hand of the person, the people who made this stole for me. You see, this beautiful stole lets me know that I am in relationship, that I have had a connection. It speaks to the journey that I've traveled and the anticipation of the road ahead here in this congregation. Now, from what I've told you, you might think that these stoles tell you who I am, but actually, they tell you what I do. That I'm a minister, and ministry is action in the world. Ministry is action with and for people. Ministry is relational. Those relationships tell me, and I hope they tell you, whose I am. Whose we are. Relational. We are the people acting in the world, acting with and for all the people, for justice, for hope, for liberation, for love. This is the truest truth of whose we are, that we belong to each other. The truest truth is that we are each other's. We belong to each other. And each of us as individuals are part of the collective we to whom we all belong. In the words of Ian Bear, We are in the story of the world. We are the world coming to know itself. May you trust that all you will ever say and ever do and ever make belongs in the story of the world. So, how does this make you feel? As David said, you're being invited to feel. How does this make you feel? How does this make you know what is true? Does it help you to be true to yourself, to be true about the world, to know whose you are, that you are each other's? You are connected by story, by experience. You cannot be otherwise, except the people who belong to one another. What is the story we tell about this community, which gives us a sense of belonging, a sense of worth, a sense of connection? Do you hear that story enough? Do we need to say it more? Do we need to say it differently so that you know that this is where you belong, that these are your people? So look here at my stoles and their great beauty. Look around at this place and its great beauty, the big shiny building, the beautiful grounds. Look around. And then look at the most important parts, each other. Look and listen deeply to those around you. To this thing which you are a part of. To this which cannot be made without you. And commit. Say to yourself, yes, this is what I can give my allegiance to. Whose are we in this congregation? It is your presence which can answer that question. Choose to be fully present here and then to walk out and be fully present in the world. To make these your people here and walk out and make everyone else your people too. May you know that you are held and cared for here. May you know that you are welcome here, that this is your home, and we are your people. If you're ever in doubt of whose you are, don't be. Don't be. Know that this is whose you are, this place and these people. May you be loved and held in that knowledge. May it be so for you always. Amen. Please rise in body or spirit for our closing hymn number 123, Spirit of Life, in the gray hymnal. This hymn was requested in memory of Jean Klein.
Spirit
for our closing words. And we're going to do this responsively. So, these are the words I want you to say. We create a web of life. We create a web of life. This is finally the time to let go of that crazy notion that we can live separate and aloof from one another. We create a web of life. This is the time at last that we can come home to each other, to our mutual belonging. We create a web of life. And we create a web of life out of which every single one of us can use everything our stories have given us. We create a web of life. Every part of our lives, even the cruelty, even the abuse, even the addictions, even the loneliness, even the failures, we create a web of life. A web of life is created within which you can rest in the knowing, because out of that you can act. Out of that, all power is yours. Out of that, you travel light. Out of that, you step forward. You create a web of life. Let every encounter be a homecoming as we step forward now for the healing of our world. The world is not going to be saved by good people or noble people. The world is going to be healed by ordinary people like you and me, who are not afraid of pain and who are not afraid of loving each other. Amen. Yes, yes, yes. And now we extinguish our chalice, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Please be seated.